they have too many heroes that are going to punish this Faceless Void, right? Okay, so it is most likely going to be having a decent time in the lane, you know, with these picks. You don't have too many things that are going to deal small instances of sustained damage, which is what Faceless Void absolutely hates laning into. You've got a decent amount of damage that can go into the Chronosphere, of course. Queen of Pain, Sonic Wave, Grimstroke can even get off a good amount, Lion, Finger of Death, so it's not like... I'm liking how Cignal's synergizing, and again, they have just got so much lockdown. You catch out that Morphling where he's not morphing into strength, he's dead as a dodo. Ton of burst, ton of instant lockdown as well, which is always pretty deadly.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, the lockdown potential they have, and you take a look at all the bursts as well. Sonic Wave, Finger of Death, 496 have the Oracle Tusk, and you want to be able to burst heroes down before they can get that defensive factor off, and the Death Prophet is a hero that really thrives in long drawn-out fights, not even to mention the Morphling, before he can utilize that attribute shift, maybe Sven getting a BKB. So this is, you know, on being able to execute, get that quick pick off with their burst potential, because if the fights get dragged out here, then you've got to be worried about that Exo, you know, the Morphling potential, Sven using that full combo and the God Strength. But it's a bit of a draft from 496. You said they can, you know, they often like to pull out a bit of a wonky draft, but do you feel like it's a good game for it? You know, this Sven last pick for Drew?
No. to be really frank about it, I feel like Cignal have the better draft. I mean, going into this series again, 496, they're the team that's come from the upper division. We've got multiple players across different teams that were in the upper division. They've been the only one out of these two teams to even take a game, let alone a series, off of anyone. They 2-1'd against Southbuild. 1-2'd rather. But I'm still feeling like Cignal have got this in terms of at least the draft. It's going to be heavily dependent on how these laning matchups go, though.
Yeah, is there a laning matchup that we should focus on between the three lanes?
Even look to... They wouldn't try lane to start. Sven would horrible time. I mean, if you maybe trialing with the Sven, leaving the DP on her own, still got a decent amount of survivability. It's not like Faceless Void can do all that much against you super early on. Get a kill. I mean, the thing is, though, it feels like it would have to just be a first blood as opposed to full-on committing to the tri-lane, because with these supports, you've got a Tusk that needs levels to be able to roam, and you're sacrificing that pretty damn heavily in the lane, so you need to crush it. One of the best heroes to crush it, but it doesn't happen, then you're in a rough spot.
Yeah, and the Void is a bit of a tricky carry to lane into. I should say to play in the lane. We don't really see as many of those hard defensive 5 supports anymore, and which I feel like the Void always needed that little bit of babysitting.
The other thing as well, I mean, yeah, if Void just catches one person in a Chronosphere, just use the Oracle ulti on them as well, right? They've got multiple ways to save a 496. The other big weakness I'm seeing on Cignal's side is that, I mean, who wants to frontline? It feels like a sort of lineup where you need to get a pick off before you actually start pushing into tower. You know, it's not one that you can just stand behind someone like the Death Prophet, for example, and or even the Morphling, right? Like, the Morphling is just going to be able to at least stand at somewhat range, midway between Agi and Strength, and get some tower damage done. But Cignal, it's not like you want a Centaur just standing there hitting a tower.
Yeah, you really don't. I guess Van can definitely tank up this game. You know, we could see him go for a build that allows him to fulfill that role, like you were highlighting, because you know, they're kind of missing one of those heroes. So we'll see how Van wants to play it. But he definitely, I mean, he's going to need a blink this game. Eris is not going to get one at a rate where he can be the one initiating. So, you know, if it's going to be that Vanguard into blink build, or you know, if he's even going to go like Vanguard Hood potentially, I'm really intrigued how Van wants to itemize on the Centaur.
Just launched our predictions on the stream. Let's see if people get amongst it. We've got 1,000 people in chat so far. Hopefully that'll continue to grow throughout this series. But the thing that I haven't seen just yet is I'm seeing a lot of Let's Go Dyers and a lot of Let's Go Radiants. No giveaway entrants just yet. I mean, I set the the bar reasonably high with 5,000 points, but some juicy stuff. So if you don't know about it, we'll talk about it between games 1 and 2. But we've got a smoke to start things off with a Tusk lineup. This is exactly what you want to do. It's popped. Good positioning by Grims, though.
Oh, he's still in the area. Drew's, does he see him right now? He's got a little bit of vision. He's picking him out, but it's such an awkward spot.
A very quick glimpse of him. Oh, don't think they saw him drop that second observer ward.
Yeah, they're just gonna see where it's all placed.
Oh, they stuffed up the sentry though.
Oh yeah, they put it on the wrong side. And Yassi's like, no boys, that's wrong place there.
Get that done,
Radiant,
you know.
on this high ground, Yassi's actually gonna be pretty careful.
You need more.
Void wants to level up the bash. He needs help. He's actually going to snowball through and maybe try and steal the bounty before he dies, but Grims will pick up first blood. There will be 3 bounties for 496, but they give up the first blood to the Grimstroke there.
Don't think that's what you want. I mean, we talked about the potential for the tri-lanes. Tusk is going to TP right back down. If they could pick up off one more time, that's going to be a long time out of the lane, and then you can start to heavily bully DPC. Oh, he's here.
They might go now. Yeah, they saw they pinged it. They'll at least put out a decent amount of damage.
Exactly what you want as well, right? It's not like he's going to put any aggressive pressure on. You just saw he leveled up the snowball. No tag team. I see no aggression, but snowballs in onto Eris. Exactly what a Biggie wants, though. And Grims, they're doing a pretty good job of staying out of experience range. They're not going to be able to avoid it for these next few, but at least able to get a couple of creeps.
So this does leave the Van Centaur in a solo matchup right now versus the Sven and the Oracle. Is this a lane where you just see the Centaur maybe playing for pulls?
I think you kind of have to. You need to get your super early levels. They're going on him pretty heavily, but not yet level 2 on Bombi, so you don't have insane burst potential. It's going to be enough.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
All you need is a couple of the stun from Drew, the root from Bombi, and the good old right clicks is plenty to bring down Van.
And that's going to be really rough for him. Yes, you're letting Drew get a lot of experience now solo in the lane. Bombi getting onto level 3 makes Centaur's life horrible.
Yeah, now it gives them that kind of burst potential they need. It's falling low. They get the Inkswell stun, and Yassi's going to follow a Bingy. Picking up his first kill of the game here. And we see both safe lanes going well. It looks like Eris just going to try and get a refill of the resources here. But a lane we haven't seen at the moment, taking a look at mid, is Hung on the Morphling up against James's Queen of Pain. Do we feel like this lane's... How is this going to fare between the two?
I mean, of course, as a Morphling, when he scales, he's always going to have a bit of an easier time now. Got this bottle picked up by the Morphling, and let's do his own rotating towards the runes. Going to get punished or get it denied away by Jamesy. Be able to pick up his one in the bottle, though. I mean, the thing I'm a little bit surprised about is that he's got the 2 points into the Shadow Strike. He's been able to get them off reasonably well onto Hung, and we can see with that Adaptive Strike used, he knows that he can continuously harass him. It's not like he can waveform away from it. Gone on a little.
Taking a bit of damage. Van just hit up that level 3, but with Drew swinging on over, he's going to try and push back the Lion, but Van's got enough damage regardless without the help of those extra last right clicks from Eris there. So they pick up a kill, and that's very nicely done for them. Eris TPing back, getting the items after a solid start to their tri-lane, and then coming back up top to help Van Centaur.
Not too bad at all. We can see Bombi's been able to at least get the remainder of these creeps before they can try and manipulate the lane a little bit more, but it's going to mean that Bombi struggled to collect all of them here. Again, still about half a level away from this Oracle's level 3. That's the big key timing for 496 in this.
Yeah, unfortunately Drew's lacking a bit of mana. I mean, he's got stick and a stun available if they get aggressive when Bombi hits up that level 3. So maybe if Eris over positions, or I guess Bombi's got some mangoes he can even use, but they're going to go in. Nice 2-man stun though, and now Van turns it. Bombi just chews up all his health. Drew's still looking to fight though, even with the help of Bombi's 2 points in the Purifying Flame, but Eris gets a little bit of extra space and he's fine. We did see the Grimstroke end up falling, however, across the map here. That was a death that got picked up from Yassi's Tusk.
See now, Bombi's obviously putting a lot more mana into harassing down Eris, so he can't stay in this lane until at least he's finished up those Tranquil Boots, and he's going to be able to, you know, just regen it up. Not often that you're going to be able to get in range for the right clicks, but as long as you just are only taking that magic damage, you should be okay for the sustain side of it.
Yeah, you know, we're going to see at the moment, I mean, Hung Hung is having a good lane. As you said, a bit surprised that Jamesy's put that second point in the Shadow Strike because of the harass. Isn't really going to do much versus a Morphling, especially with the change to the attribute shift. It's just so much easier to play around with these early levels, and you know, this is a hero that, you know, kind of likes having the bottle early on as well, especially with the change to all the runes that you can play with. But Gassy down bot. He's got Snowball to dodge the Ink Swell. He's going to push through a Bingy, but with Bash after the Snowball, should have landed that kill there.
This is not how you want a Tusk lane to go super early on, though. You can see, obviously assisted somewhat by the first blood that Grims was able to get, but he's already a good 300 gold ahead of this.
Yeah, 3 deaths early here for Yassi is really not what you want. He's going to try and help out Hung Hung. Doesn't really need, you know, that BB's lane's in a pretty good spot right now. No need to soak up that experience. So, how about your Morphling? Maybe even see how you can play around with Hung Hung's replicate now as Jamesy. He's got the blinking. Yeah, we're going to see Jamesy can get a lot more impactful here on the Queen of Pain than what Hung Hung will be able to. They're going to snowball in. They're going to be careful of Jamesy's burst potentially if Morphling plays in a bit of a low health pool margin as, well, they'll drop the ultimate to find the kill on the Tusk. And meanwhile, because Tusk was playing away from that BB, it gives Radiant a great opportunity to bring down the Death Prophet.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You normally think about this Tusk as the hero that can do a lot of this punishing. Oh, getting with the haste rune coming up there by Hung Hung, but no, Eris has probably been the MVP so far this game. You know, he hasn't died at all. He's been part of 4 kills. He's rotated to mid. He's secured runes, and he's made sure to punish this this Fen Oracle combo.
And he's given Van at least a decent time. He got that kill for him. And, you know, about to be 29 last hits for the Centaur. Vanguard already completed. So, and our Centaur is going to be able to farm very fast with this build. You know, he's got 3 points Retaliate. You see, it's just going to complement his item build incredibly well.
We'll see if they, no, he actually TP's back into mid to help now that the Vanguard is finished up. I was thinking maybe he's going to try and go top, bully the Sven out of the lane so you can make full use out of the siege creep, but they were already able to take it. Case is just going to make it a 3v2 actually.
A Bingy, nice. Chrono. They're all grouped up as well, so they get a double Ink Swell along with the stun from Eris. Hung Hung's going to come down along with Bombi. They haven't found any kills just yet, and now that BB with the sustain, they're going to look to turn on a Bingy. Time Walk's still on cooldown of the Stampede. Doesn't give you an opportunity to disengage. He was forced to stand his ground and man fight. A Cignal Ultra lose too, and they're probably going to end up losing Grims as well. The root doesn't even require as Hung Hung gets the kill with the adaptive strike. That's a double for the Morphling, and that's also the Chronosphere getting nothing really out of it.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good attempt, right? Connecting onto 2, great chain use of all of your abilities, but at the end of the day, Faceless Void, not the highest damage super early on, unless you get super lucky with those time locks, and it wasn't a Bingy's day this time.
It was, with how he got them positioned in the Chronosphere, it was perfect. We saw that double Earth Spike. They were close enough together for the Inkswell stun as well, but just some on-point rotations from 496 there. And, you know, this is that factor. If you don't burst the heroes down fast enough with someone like the Oracle nearby, someone like the Death Prophet who can get those Spirit Siphons off, and it can be very awkward. James is going to maybe think about bursting through Hung Hung, seeing if you can do the calculations. But top lane, they're going to lose the Tusk here. A Bing coming over, Eris, and even actually Grim showing up. So Cignal putting a lot of emphasis on infiltrating the safe lane of 496.
Makes total sense, right? You've got this more farm-heavy lineup with the Sven and the Morphling. You know that there's only so much farm on the map. You're going to need to take some away from the jungle. You're taking away this tier 1 tower. Makes it a lot harder to play in this, at least these 2 camps where Grims and Eris are controlling through right now.
Been very impressed though with Bombi. He's constantly stacking on the Oracle. We see him already at the Triangle camp trying to get a stack the Ancients and the Harden. Well, he'll be successful, and yeah, Drew already, he farmed his way through. Well, Stampede. Van's not going to tick out to the urn there. But yeah, we saw that Drew farm from top all the way down to the Ancients, going through multiple stacks there. So Oracle's just done a really good job, and this has kind of been enabled because of the Centaur mainly being solo for a period of time. And you know, Sven's going to free farm that matchup.
God strength as well, so he's going to pop it to take out this Ancient stack. Hopefully. Blast is going to help somewhat and clear him out enough time. Jamesy should have known that this Observer Ward was up here in the mid lane as well. As he was positioning to try and take out Harden there, as he does just now, he was actually hit by the tower once when he was standing just to the left of the line of trees. And the only way you're going to do that is if there's either a ward, you know, down next to the tower, or if there's one up on this high ground.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Top lane? Yes, it's fine. So we saw that bump. Yeah, Han just got absolutely murked by Jamesy, but also he's got a Boots of Trouble first item here on the Morphling. So is he just looking to try and make a lot of space here this game and give it over to Drew so he can have a lot more of the safe farm?
I think that's exactly it. You know, you got to pick one of these heroes that's able to actually make use out of that. If you've got the movement speed, you've got the waveform, you've got a little bit of survivability. There are very few heroes in the game can do it. Like Weaver is another one that can. Any of the spirits are able to actually take farm in these more aggressive positions. So I think that's going to be his role this game. It's a greedy way to go. I mean, if it's not punished, we've seen so many times, you know, greedy builds, the enemy team just sits back and farms.
Oh, Yassi, he just walked up, denied the catapult, and just drops. They both Void and Tusk drop a good old chat line there, but he's like, alright, that's time for me to get out. I got Chrono, let's use this big ultimate. They don't have the Sonic Wave, and Morphling's able to get the Attribute Shift. Let's see if they're going to be able to burst through the Death Prophet now. They need to switch their target now that Morphling has got that Attribute Shift off in the nick of time. And now Bumpy coming over, Force Promise, drag through with the Snowball, gives a little bit of extra space here for that BB to play around with the Spirit Siphon. He's even going to drop the Exorcism, but they control up the Queen of Pain, and they find a Faceless Void Kill as well. 2 will drop on Cignal Ultra, and they're more than likely going to end up losing their tier 1 tower, maybe scratch that, maybe even an extra hero as well as Ven without the Stampede, and they're going to dive underneath the tier 2 tower. They're going to be careful about the glyph. These multi-shots are stacking up here. It's a lot of damage, but a great silence stops the stun lockdown from the Eris Lion there. And now 3 will fall from Cignal.
That is so different if Cignal had the level 6 on the line. He is 1 creep away from being able to burst down that DPC. Well, he finally gets it. Maybe they're going to be able to try and get some sort of retaliate here onto at least the Tusk. But
oh boy!
They're going to pick it up, but still 2 minutes now where that Sonic Wave is on cooldown. And if you've got this farm heavy lineup, you're totally cool with that.
And Grims as well might just bruise. That's a lot of damage. 3 points Crypt Swarm, 4 points Proof. Iron Flame. James has got a DD, wants some revenge, and now Eris with that Finger of Death that's going to come into play, and even Bombi is going to end up losing his life as well. So Cignal to lose a couple of heroes, and like, alright, time for us to get a couple kills as well, and maybe even some pressure on the tier 1 tower. You know, 496 diving deep to that tier 2 wasted a lot of the exorcism duration there, so they didn't actually do a whole lot of tower damage in the end.
Yeah, barely scratched it, and well, being able to get those couple of kills there on Jamesy, as well as Yassi actually previously, he cleaned up 3 kills out of that entire lineup, but it's going to bring him a lot closer to that Orchid. And, you know, we talked about all these different spirits that can punish supports if they're trying to, you know, keep lanes pushed out. I mean, Morphling is kind of in the same boat, at least until he gets, you know, the item. He's going the E-Blade to start off, give them a little bit more burst damage, because we talked about before, they are good in these long-standing team fights, but they don't have a ton of burst potential right now on 6, which you're going to need if you're going to try and take care of this Faceless Void when he gets a bit more.
And you take a look right now at the net worth disparison between the position 1s. I mean, Drew is just so far ahead, and he's been enabled because of the stacking from 496. You take a look at the last hits, it's 168 compared to the 70. You know, yes, this comes into play that I mean, he just picked up his farming item in the Maelstrom, and he's actually going to get kind of lucky here, I think, with the tree positioning that Dai didn't see him, although they would have seen the creeps pulled away from the hard camp there, but they smoke up, get the kill on the Grimstroke. They were going to drop the Chronosphere on 2 here, and Cignal coming over with the Stampede. It means that Eris can lock in the Oracle, and they're going to look for the kill on Yassi as well. Shards gives him some distance. That bit is even going to commit for the Exorcism. I mean, they've got the outpost, so the rotations are coming through. It's just Drew at the moment, and he can't really close the distance. He's now going to turn his attention to the river. Is now with the Stormhammer stun, locks in Jamesy.
That's a big misplay coming through from Jamesy. All you needed to do was rinse and reset, and they just used the Godstrike. They just used the Exorcism. You survive, and you're totally cool to go in again with your Orchid. Now potentially they could look to rotate, get a lot more of your jungle taken away. It's going to be a lot harder for them to take this team.
Are you worried that the Faceless Void might not be able to keep up with like a mid-game timing that Dire could hit right now? Because, man, Drew is stupidly farming. He's a hero that doesn't really need as many items in the mid-game, and Faceless Void really does.
Yeah, of course. And, you know, you've just seen so many times in these team fights, even just the War Cry on its own is so effective with this team, right? Gives that percentage-based movement speed, very effective with having a Death Prophet in your lineup. Bounty. Just allows the team to get that extra, you know, meter or two of space away from everyone else. So it's just night and day between the Faceless Void that unless he's got Chronosphere, he just cannot be part of anything.
Yeah, I mean, it really puts you on a big window here on when you can get involved. You know, the cooldown 160 seconds maxed out with the ultimate for the Faceless Void, and you know, you're now giving away a lot of space for 496. They've accumulated a 4,000 net worth lead, and you know, what's the Morphling still working on that E-Blade, so he's got the Ghost Scepter. You see his net worth is of course not keeping up to the Sven spot with lane. Yassi, he's got the blink already. Silence is a bit late, but the Snowball can follow him down, so they don't really get much distance with the Stampede. And even Drew now jumping on forward. Dire can really think about taking Roche. Maybe not right now, because Exo's down for 20, but they're going to smoke up, maybe for another pick-off here. It was underneath the Observe Ward in the river, though, so Cignal Ultra do have information.
They're going to back up with enough time. At least these creeps are going to be sniped away by Drew, which is really nice to have. Don't know what Grimm's Courier is doing up here, but it'll live for now.
Maybe just anticipating a ward to get placed up there. He's already got a sentry in the area.
But at least they were able to get the T1 tower. You know, that means that they are opting to go for this Exorcism attempt. They're kind of second-guessing themselves a little bit. Only half a level away here on DPC from his level 2.
Oh no, they walked up into a ward and they did destroy it. They just walked straight past the Observe Ward, and now with the shot as well, Van's going to get caught in place. Bing is going to jump an Iron Chronosphere here. It's on to 2, but once again with False Promise, if they don't catch Bombi, the Snowball dodges the Sonic Wave damage as well, so the Queen of Pain has to retreat with the blink, but not raiding. They can't really continue with the fight. Even though with these 2 buybacks coming through from the supports, they do burst through Hung thanks to Eris's Finger of Death, but oh, it's 2 buybacks there for the 1 kill.
It's on the Morphling, so it's not terrible, but yeah, you mentioned it right. You got an Observer Ward next to you that's placed pretty aggressively when you were just in the area and had just placed down a sentry. You know they're still around. And, well, they got picked off from it. Good blink reveal coming through there from the Sven. Found this time Tusk, but he's actually found Eris. That's going to be a dieback.
55 seconds down on the deck.
Can't rush. No Exo, no God Strength. So, you know, probably just going to opt to go for a few towers if they can. Chronosphere is not available. We saw Sonic Wave used. It was a really nice dodge. I thought Yassi played that fight really well. Just making sure to be in the right position to be able to catch out the right people. Oracle got Promise onto him and even Snowball dodged the Sonic Wave.
I love how aggressive they're playing right now. Oh, Yassi gets bashed up maybe a couple more times, but Silence, Stampede, nope, Shard's gonna counter that, and now with the perfect chain lockdown with Faceless Void, it's gonna get brought down in our van. He even shows his face in the wrong neighborhood. Hung utilizing that Centaur replicate. They're gonna find an extra juicy Centaur kill here. Oh, man. Posturing from 496 was just so on point. You knew the Lion was dead. You knew the abilities were on cooldown from Radiant. Let's just walk up the high ground aggressively, and now they can go back into Roche. God Strength, tag team. I think this is... no, Medallion's not picked up just yet, but it's not really required here.
Looking good though. I mean, you can't ask for too much more from Yassi here. Again, he was just on point with that initiation, making sure to get that chain lockdown through onto the Faceless Void. Of course, assisted by the rest of the team with the silences, stuns, everything else coming through, but having a game to remember after that. It's a pretty disastrous early game. 3 deaths by a Tusk in the laning stages. He never went wrong. He's redeemed himself.
He has indeed, and I was going to say, you're going to see how difficult it is now for Cignal against a lot of the defensive factors that Dire have. If you drop a Chrono, but if you don't find the Oracle, we see that False Promise coming into play, and even for the Lion initiation, if you don't get the Tusk, then he can just blink forward Snowball and disrupt the combo.
And you saw it was the Morphling that actually ended up taking the Aegis. Obviously a lot less cooldown reliant than the Sven or the DP. Once they pop the God Strength and the Exorcism, they're much less useful. You're gonna waveform just to get neither on Hung Hung. But it just enables him to, again, play that more aggressive style, right? He's got the Boots of Travel, he's got the waveform, he's got the magic resist from the Nether Shore. Magic damage can't hurt as well, but now he's even got the Aegis, so it's going to take a very heavy commitment from Cignal Ultra to try and take him down. Meantime though, they were able to get the tier 2. Cignal probably getting the best possible trade they could have, taking out the Ancient stack, which is quite nice.
Radiant are scanning.
You see that? I mean, Lion's got this blink queued up. Van has just had a tricky game here. Did he go that Vanguard? Oh no.
Now he's got that medallion. So, you know, you've got this lineup that includes a Sven. It's just going to mean you're melting.
Double damage.
And he's accumulating a lot of gold right now. We're going to see that broken Solar Crest get picked up very shortly. You know, both the Morphling and the Sven are absolutely going to love that.
You love to see it. You've got the God Strength available. Exorcism still, again, 70 seconds away, but playing around there. Honestly, they're not playing around each other amazingly. They're just punishing all movements coming through from Cignal. Solo siege creep, though. Coming down towards the tower. Will they start to tank it up to make sure it survives? Cardi,
Let it die.
Tower is under attack.
Oh, poor Cardi's life. They he just wanted to hit some towers. Just wanted to be a friend.
Is under attack.
So this tower might have died like a second or two faster now. Means you could have contested those bounties, maybe farmed an extra camp. But you're just greedy. You didn't want to take those 2 tower hits. God damn it.
I hate it.
Dominating! Axis, please!
Oh no.
Again, like, this is the other thing. You've got these supports that are not able to save themselves if they get jumped on by something like this Morphling. Nethershall not just going to be able to, save him from the Finger of Death, from the Stroke of Fate, from the Queen of Pain abilities.
Radiant's middle tower is
That
under
offensive
attack.
damage. Well, I'm hearing a bunch of ultimates being popped. They found... Oh, just able to jump away in time on the block.
You know, we were highlighting in the draft that Yassi gonna blink on Centaur is
Radiant's
still
middle tower
really
is
hard to
under
commit onto, although Drew wants to. I say he's hard to commit on. Drew just chunks him down. They drop the Chronosphere on 2. Nice use of the Soulbite as well with Finger of Death, but once again they haven't been able to catch out Bombi. He also sidesteps the Sonic Wave there, so the Oracle's not going to get bursted, and then 496 is going to be able to chase inside the base with all the ultimates on cooldown. Signal, they don't even have buybacks regardless. It's an Ultra for Hung Hung. The sole survivor from Cignal Ultra nowhere to be seen. He's opting to try and cut the mid wave. The ball wave's getting shot in as well. He thinks how it's going to get cleaned, and Cignal now going to lose some objectives inside the base.
And that's what happens when you don't have the pinpoint position when you're going for these ganks, right? It just feels like one person is picked off every single time. And again, it's all about the burst potential against this 106 lineup. So many times Snowball save, so many times False Promise save. Morphling again, just move away. Sven, he's tanky. Very few ways for you to die right now. 106.
You just have, I think Centaur's dead as well. Yeah, he is. I mean, Sven Might get bashed up here one more time. Drew's actually going to end up falling here. You also see the backline. James, you got the kill on Bombi. They're going to buyback coming through. Van wants to try and punish this with the Stampede. James is still in the back as well. Nice use of the Sans. Van's going to jump in straight on top of that BB, but they're able to turn and get the kill on top of Jamesy. That B's still going to... Oh my lord. Yes, he's just so much outplaying them right now. This Tusk keeps that BB alive. You know, he's going to be able to TP. The Tusk won't make it, but he's done his job. They got the kill on Jamesy. You got the Death Prophet out. Yes, you did lose a couple heroes than what you were hoping for, but it could have been a lot worse there from 496.
Yeah, much worse. He says, well, I tried in the old chat, but I mean, I think he did more than try, my man. Being able to protect a core. They forced a buyback out of Van there. Really solid play. It honestly feels very tough to find a scenario where they're going to come back into this game. Queen of Pain, one of those heroes that absolutely needs to snowball if you're going to have any kind of effectiveness. It's not like you've got that level 25 safety net anymore, where at least you've got the fear coming through from your talent.
Oh, Riveras. Oh my god. Oh, maybe Grims as well, honestly. Ben. Nice use of the hoof stomp there. Gives some space to his support. But Hong Kong's still chasing, and along with 496 as well, that BB's actually going to commit the exorcism, but they can still connect with the Death Prophet and tank the tower.
Yep. Needs to smoke on the back line. They can take him down quickly enough, that's the question.
Chrono onto 2. Where's the damage? James is going to blink on the back. He finally able to catch up Bombi. Now with the Orchid Sonic Wave, they bring him down, but Drew, they find the kill on James here. Even though he popped the BKB, they've got the burst potential. Now with the control on top of the Faceless Void as well. Cignal Ultra, the cores just can't sustain all the damage right now. 496 have accumulated way too much of a net worth lead. The levels and items showing up big here in these team fights.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they were finally able to, like you say, catch out that Oracle. A little bit of poor positioning coming through there. He had the Blink Dagger, so he didn't need to be standing right in the middle of the team fight, but the Orchid Science ends up taking him down. Again, though, you just got so much damage on these other 3 cores. It punishes the fact that you weren't able to get aggressive enough against the other team. You see it time and time again. And it's not like... it's not something that we say too often, you know, see teams lacking aggression to be able to punish too deep movement.
Yeah, usually you see that it's the C teams that are all out aggression here and can do that, but it's just a game where 496 looking really, really clean. And, you know, this was I guess a draft coming into it, we were kind of questioning, you know, the Sven last pick, putting the Morphling mid, the DP in the off lane, but 496 just had the game plan and they executed.
I'm still of the mentality of, I really don't rate Faceless. He just does nothing in the first 25 minutes of the game. It's not like he's even landed some bad Chronospheres. I feel like Bingies have been pretty damn good. But again, you're just lacking the damage to be able to contest into this heavy, you know, burst resistant lineup.
Oh, this is not good. Then he's disconnected away from the team. They have been able to run into Yassi, but they're losing their offlane right now on the Centaur, and even Morphling just murks the Lion as well. Gets the Stampede off just before the death, but Drew's got the Abyssal Blade. A Bing Stormhammer doesn't get the BKB off fast enough. Down with the last second Time Walk. A Bing just makes it away, but they're going to lose the Queen of Pain. A Bing has to now turn, but he's going to still end up falling. And Cignal, they got a couple of buybacks, but it just doesn't matter. Down so much gold, and they're gonna have to call it quits here. It's 496, too strong.
Yeah, way too strong. And